As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Hello, my name is Elder Steel, and I would like to introduce my best friend, Elder Goots. That's you.
Yeah, I know that's me. These one-off episodes kill me because it's never the same intro. You do the Bachelorette, it's shooter. Do you accept this, bros?
Mhm.
This is you singing Book of Mormon. So you know,
Yes.
it's yeah.
Somebody commented that they loved my Book of Mormon references, so every Secret Lives of Mormon Wives episode, I'm going to make more Book of Mormon references because they make me happy. And you know what? We're not sponsored by Book of Mormon by any means, but I did see
Can we get
Book of Mormon's
sponsored by a play or a musical?
Yeah, I think you could because they're playing in Philly in October, and you need to go see it. It's so fucking good.
Are you sure we're not sponsored? Because now you're plugging them.
I am plugging it, but no, we're not sponsored. I would love the sponsorship, but
Yeah.
you need to go see this play. I'll buy you tickets. Like, you have to
Alright.
go. It's so fucking good. But welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros. We are covering Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. This is episode number 5. Okay. So if you're keeping track, we're on number 5. Number 6 comes out this week, 7 and 8 next week. So we will be all caught up with our Mormon wives. This show has been spectacular, top to bottom. No notes. Love everybody on the show except for Whitney. Love the direction that they've decided to go in with the show. It's entertaining. There's enough Mormon shit that I'm intrigued. It's so good. And I'm bummed that they dropped. This is the crazy part because I'm a big binger. Okay.
Yeah.
I love the binge.
Yeah.
I'm bummed that they dropped it all at once. I wish this was drawn out more because it's going to be over so soon.
Yeah, no, I was just talking to my girlfriend about this. It's almost like Hulu did themselves a disservice because with Vanderpump Villa, settle this debate for me. I don't remember. Did Vanderpump Villa go week to week or was it
No.
all dropped at once?
I dropped it once.
I thought it was week to week. I could have sworn it was week to week. Oh, okay.
Nope.
So I feel like Hulu's doing themselves a disservice because they're dropping these all at once and people talk about it for, a couple of weeks. They're catching up. They're doing this and that and whatever. We're 2-3 weeks removed from this at this point? And
3
people are
now.
still talking about, like we're talking about it. We're still running through our recaps. But if they did this, drop 2 in the first week, get people hooked, get people in, and then go week to week because it keeps people engaged for longer. And if you're Hulu, a lot of people that are going to be interested in a show like this, if they don't already have a Hulu subscription, they can just go ahead and do a free trial and watch it all at once and then forget about their Hulu subscription. So if you do it week to week, they're going to have to be engaged for a little bit longer. You can get a little bit more money out of them. So I just feel like Hulu didn't do a good job at that. They need to stop. And I agree with you. I like to binge things. I like it when I can just scroll to the next episode. But they need to drop them week to week to keep people engaged for longer.
I'm curious if that will shift. Obviously they're making this transition into the reality TV space. They've done other stuff in the past, but Vanderpump Villa was their big step into it. This is a giant leap forward into the reality TV realm. So I wonder if as they get more acquainted with it, maybe they'll start to do it on more of a weekly basis. Like you said, just from a financial standpoint, for not that Hulu's hurting for money, but it makes more sense to me to drop it week to week. It's also from a analysis standpoint, for what we do, it makes our job easier because people are still locked into it. It's shocking to me. And this shows you how good this show is. The buzz is still there. People are still talking about it. There's memes about it. There's discussions about it. So it's still on everyone's radar. But if you went week to week, I don't think people would complain because that's the formula of Bravo. It gives you a week to discuss it, a week to decompress, a week to go over everything, figure out who's fucking up who, all that good stuff. And with this model, it's like, oh shit, we got to hurry up and get it out. So I hope that they do transition into a week to week thing. I'm curious what the kind of trajectory of Hulu reality TV is going to be. We're kind of getting in at the ground floor with all these shows. So we're only going to see it progress, and they're obviously going to start to get more shows on there. I'm curious if they will shift that in the future.
Yeah, and I feel like if they're using because if you use like the Netflix formula, they drop shows.
Well, no, they're weekly.
Yeah, they're weekly for their reality TV shows. So, like The Circle and Love is Blind, things like that. They go week to week, or they drop a couple here and there week to week. But they're not doing the big dump that they used to do. And that's what they do for a lot of things. They still do it for a lot of their other shows, but their big shows, something like a Stranger Things, they now break it up into parts where they'll put 6 episodes out and then they'll put 6 episodes out at the end, or 4 episodes or whatever. So they're learning that it keeps people engaged, it keeps people wanting more. And that's definitely the way to go. So I feel like Hulu should make that change. And yeah, again, it's still early for them. They're still figuring it out. But yeah, hopefully they make that change.
Yeah, that'd be good for us. Okay,
Yeah.
Hulu, if you're listening, that's good for us.
That's all it is. That is
It's
us
about
complaining.
us.
Yeah, it's all about us. It just makes it better for our schedules.
Yeah, so do that, please. Thanks.
I've got my soda up, by the way.
Good. I would hate to see you without one. But I do feel like, in keeping with the show, we should both have like big gulps in the future when we recap this. 44 ounce of Coca-Cola, sugar-free, with sugar-free coconut and sugar-free bubblegum and sugar-free bubblegum.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's 44 ounces of future cancer for me. And that's what it looks like.
That's what
It's
it sounds like to
crazy.
me.
And they talk
Artificial
about
sweeteners.
it. And look, we've talked at lengths about the weird things that they do in the Mormon church, or just Mormonism in general, with their soda intake. Seeing it firsthand in this episode, what the fuck? Like, what was that? What was that? They start with a seltzer base and then they just start pumping and pumping and pumping. What, like, and you're like, this is my favorite. I can't do anything without this. How are you tasting any of those flavors? Like, you just did it one time and you're like, this is good.
Counter. How is it any different than Starbucks? Just soda based. It's Starbucks with soda. That's all it is. Literally.
You're starting
like,
to
people go to
Starbucks. You're talking about like that whole, no, it's still weird for me because it's still in the morning. I'm just going to drink a coffee, and that coffee is going to have coffee and sometimes milk, sometimes a little sugar, might have a little shot of caramel or something in there if I want to spice it up,
or whiskey.
That's about it. Yeah. Oh, well,
nope. Not from experience. It's delicious. Anyway, we actually start out at Swig, so it's fitting that we're discussing sodas. And my favorite part is when they break down their soda intake and they're like, we don't do drugs, just soda. I'm like, well, and ketamine.
Yeah,
and ketamine and NOS and weed. So we have yet to see. We're not sure what you don't do, to be honest with you. They fall back on this Mormon sword a lot of, we don't do that. And I'm like, well, we see you do it. Is it just time and place dictates whether or not it's holy, is what I've gathered with this religion thus far. It's all time and place. This is okay because we're at a doctor's office.
Yep.
This is okay because it's therapy. This is not okay because we're at a Starbucks and God hates Starbucks. And everybody knows that.
It makes sense.
I don't hate Starbucks. Actually, I don't love Starbucks,
by the way. Starbucks, yeah.
No, it's the most overblown bullshit. They're fucking basic ass coffee. Pike Place is the worst brew of coffee on the planet. You cannot change my mind. It is bitter. It is not good.
Yeah.
I don't know why they get away with that. The blonde roast is better, and they only serve that until like 10 a.m. So, yeah, I take that back. Fuck Starbucks. But regardless, they're at Swig, and they're getting these crazy drink orders, which is pretty interesting to watch. Actually, I didn't know that was the setup. I figured you went and got a Coke, and
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, like a Diet Coke, and it's one of those machines that I love. By the way,
Wawa,
like Wawa, yeah, where you can just hit a couple of different things. Or when you go to the movie theaters and you get one of those big machines, and they have like 50 different flavors for each flavor or for each soda. Awesome. Time and place. That's the time and place. You go to the movies, I'm gonna eat a shit ton of candy, popcorn, pretzel bites, and a crazy soda.
But not on my way to work.
No.
But they're having a divorce party for Layla. And I think this idea is hysterical. And I think it's even funnier because of the religion that they're in. Mm-hmm. But everybody's invited. Everybody, including Whitney. But this is where we find out that Whitney left the group chat and blocked everybody, or unfollowed. Didn't block everybody, but blocked some.
You're saying it wrong, though. It's not group chat. It's group chat. Group chat.
Oh yeah, the group chat. Sorry, enunciation's important. The group chat.
I had to rewatch it because I couldn't see anything that she was saying. I couldn't figure out what she was talking about because every time that she said group chat, I was like, "What? Why is she doing that?"
Group chat.
What's going on? Yeah,
it's the group chat.
I can't.
Well, she's in. She left the group chat, blocked some people on socials, unfollowed everybody. So everyone's unfollowed. Some are blocked. And here's the thing. and this is what you're starting to see the shift here. Everyone's starting to turn on Whitney, and the difference in the past is people would cave eventually.
Mhm.
Nobody's caving now because you've got Demi and you've got Jessi kind of at the forefront of it. But it's now the queen bee struggle. Now we've got who is the HBIC, and they're trying to supplant Whitney with Demi right now.
Mhm.
And my favorite part of this is in the confessionals, Demi's like, I don't want to be the leader. Like, somebody has to do it. I'll do it. She's loving this. She's loving the fact that Jessi's like, you're the new one. You're the new queen of the group, and we need you, girl. And it's fitting because you don't want it, but you'd be great at it. And Demi's
Does
like,
anyone
no.
want it though? Like, I mean, Whitney wanted it, obviously. Taylor was the original queen bee, but she was just kind of pushed into that role. She wants it back, but she's pregnant
Yes.
and, a lot of other things going on. So she's not really taking power right now. It seems like nobody else wants it. They keep talking about this queen bee thing. We need a leader. I don't know why you need a leader, but we need a leader of the group, and no one wants it. Jessi's
Mom
pushing it,
talk
but other
won't
people-
survive without a leader.
Apparently not. It's insane to me. But going to Demi, why? Because she called out Whitney for her bad behavior.
Yes, that's
why
enough for
we're doing
me.
it? Like, I guess
That's enough for me. She stood up to the original HBIC after Taylor bounced. So yeah, what she dethroned you by putting you in your place. So now your place is her place.
It's a fall guy. They're putting somebody up there. The people who are actually in power, the people that want to actually do things, are just kind of throwing someone up there, like, you go be the queen bee, but I'm still going to have all these opinions, and we're still going to talk about it. So it's
a puppet government.
It's a puppet government, is what it is. That's
okay.
1,000%. Yeah, we've got a figurehead that we're going to throw up there, and that's good enough for us. We don't want somebody who actually wants to call the shots. We just want somebody to be up there and say, "Look at me, I'm the queen bee." You can be front and center of our videos, but we're all going to be making decisions, and we're all going to be making money.
Okay. All right. So it's a puppet shadow government. I like that. That gets a little shadier. So I'm into that. But we get to Connor and Whitney, and obviously Whitney is dealing with the fallout of her own decisions, her own actions, and treating people like shit. I don't know in my life if I've ever seen the victim card so haphazardly used.
Mm-hmm.
She's taking zero accountability. At no point is she able to look in the mirror and reflect on her own bullshit and just say, "Oh, I see where I might have fucked up a little bit." Was it harsh at the trip? Maybe. And that's the thing. I don't even think it was. I think that if you treat people a certain way for long enough, you build up all of this resentment. And that's what you got. You got the whole group clapping back because the whole group is finally in agreement. Because we talked about it before. Everybody felt this way. Everybody was afraid to be the one to say it. And once one person says it, the dam breaks. And now everybody's coming out saying, yeah, she treats me like shit. She jumped from me to you, treated you like shit. This is clearly a pattern that we need to break. And she is the culprit. So let's get her the fuck out of here. But her responses to questions, Connor's trying to figure it all out. She's like, are you guys going to be friends? And she's like, have we ever been friends? It's like, dude, come on. Like, woe is me, boo-hoo. Like, they're not my real friends. And I don't think that we're friends because everyone's just jealous of each other and trying to one-up each other. No, you are. You're describing your own behaviors. Is there some jealousy in the group? Yeah, I'm sure if someone lands a bigger brand deal or if someone's making more money or Taylor or Whitney are at the helm, sure. There's going to be inherent jealousy because somebody wants to be making more. Fine. But to play the card of, this is all just transactional. I don't need any of these women and they don't need me. They don't even want me. And she has the balls to take it to, no one's even texted me once I left the group. And I'm like, there it is. That was a move. Nobody reacted to you. And now you're pissed off.
Yep. That's all it was. And they kept showing it. The first couple times that they showed it was kind of funny. It's a little shady. It's like,
it was funny the whole time.
I didn't like it the whole time. Eventually I'm like, all right, too much.
Do you know why it was funny?
Why?
Because each time they did it, they had the same exact dramatic. It's like, he saw her. Showed the group chat. I was like, I appreciate that.
You're always a sucker for that, the choir.
I'm a sucker for the choir one, and I'm also a big proponent of driving a bit home until it's dead and then keep going with it. Just hammer it home, and then it's annoying, and then you keep going, and now it's funny again. Big fan of that.
Yeah, and this was the conversation that I was talking about that I really could not track because she kept saying group chat, and I just couldn't handle it. But yeah, that's all she was doing. And for her to say it, she's just looking at herself in the mirror and putting it on all of these other girls. Because at first she had me going for a little while. You're not really friends. She had me going for a little while. where maybe not, I wasn't feeling bad for her.
You're a sucker.
She was making a good point. I don't think that they're actually friends. I think that they're all kind of stuck together in this mom talk thing, and they're trying to just make money together. They keep talking about mom talk surviving. Is the friendship going to survive? Who cares if the friendship's going to survive? All you guys really care about is making money at this point. You just want to be in a healthy area where, yeah, you can hang out here and there, but you just want to make TikToks and you just want to make some money. So call it out for what it is. And I thought that's where she was going until she stopped and said, but nobody even checked up on me. Well, you just said that they're all really bad friends. You said the other day that you're not even friends with most of them. The only person that you might call your friend is Mayci, and she probably has checked up on you. I don't know. It seemed like I just wanted an answer. Was she part of the unfollowing? Was she part of the blocking? Was she part of what?
Mayci was unfollowed.
Yeah, so Mayci was apparently fully unfollowed.
Not
So
full, she was unfollowed.
yeah, so there's nuances to all of this, of course. But once she said nobody reached out to me after I left the group chat, okay, all right, that's what you wanted. You just wanted some sympathy. You wanted people to do this, which you've done before, and you just got called out for this. You just got called out for the woe is me bullshit, for treating people like they're not actually friends, for just getting information from one person, moving on to the next, getting what you need from somebody, and just moving on. And you're doing it again. You're just showing us your true character again. Because again, I did think at first, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of have a point there. Nobody is actually friends with you. Nobody's friends with anybody, to be honest. But yeah, if you want to play the sympathy card, now you're going to lose me.
So I disagree with you slightly. I do believe a lot of it's transactional. I do believe that I think that this group empowered them regardless of whether they were friends or not. I do believe that, especially given the misogyny within the church. It's allowed them all to find their voice. I think they share that collectively, whether they're friendly or not. That I'm on board with. Are they all friends? No. Are some of them close? Definitely. I do believe that like two of them are really close. Like Jessi and Demi, I believe, are really close friends. Like if you look throughout the group, I do think there's pairings or trios that like, yes, this crew is tight, that crew is tight. All of them together, probably not, but they're definitely one-offs where they are friendly with the people in the group. But in this particular scene, the thing that cracked me up the most is at the end, after saying, I'm just going to walk away, still trying to pull up the sympathy card, she more or less says, I am mom talk. Without me, what do they have? It's like they're more than capable, because I've seen individuals pop up like when I've been on TikTok, like one of them from the show on their own personal account will pop up. I don't even watch the whole thing. I just look at the likes and views. It's like fucking 200,000 likes and like 10,000 shares. So they're all self-sufficient. And I think that that's the funniest thing when you want to break this down from like a psychological standpoint is the implied self-importance that comes with something like this, where it's like, I am the reason. It's like, are you? Or is everybody the reason in their own right? Because all of you are doing the same thing. All of you seem to be successful. There's obviously layers to it, like who's here and who's here. Right. But at the end of the day, I think it was Jen Affleck. And I have to say her last name because they put it up on the screen every time. I think it was Jen Affleck, and it was her and her husband doing something extraordinarily mundane. It was just a very classic TikTok of nothing. And it had 200,000 likes. I was like, so nobody needs each other in this group. Yeah, you need the mom talks just to like proclaim that we're still together, I suppose. But as far as who's doing more and who's doing less, I think that's just where you get into the hierarchy mentally, where they're like, I'm more important. It's like, no, you're fucking not. You don't matter. The collective group is what matters.
Yeah, and it's really funny too, because they created this idea of mom talk, and they do reference it all the time, where they say mom talk is something that's just supposed to be about positivity, and as long as that survives, that's what matters. But at the same time, you're trying to figure out who's going to be the queen bee, but the head does not matter. You can get rid of one of them and just plug and play the entire time. In 4 or 5 years, mom talk, the idea of mom talk can still be around, but it's going to be all new people. And whoever has the most followers, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get somebody who's already like a quasi influencer that has, a couple 100,000 followers that joins this group, pushes her to the next level, and then all of a sudden she has the most followers. That's who's going to be getting the most money. When it comes to sponsors, they don't give a shit about who you are. They care about how many followers you have.
We need numbies.
You have. They need numbies. So it doesn't matter if Whitney's the head of it. It doesn't matter if Taylor's the head of it. So your friendships, your little inner relationships, they don't fucking matter. Like, yeah, for the TV show, they matter. But for mom talk, it doesn't really matter at all. Throw another one in there. She'll get more followers, and then she'll be the head of it. Who cares? It's the idea of mom talk. And unfortunately, that's what you guys created. Created this monster. This mom's
It's not unfortunate. It's just understand what it is. The other girls seem to have a grasp on what it is. Like, this is a platform for us to come
yeah.
together
Well,
and make
but
some
those,
money and
to
feel
be fair
empowered.
though, and this is the funny thing is the juxtaposition of the TV show versus TikTok. On
Sure.
TikTok, none of them really matter. I mean, I'm sure like Layla is doing fine, Michaela is doing fine. On the TV show, those girls are like nothing on the TV show. They just show
Oh,
up
yeah.
and they're there, and like I don't care what's going on. Like Layla, you could argue this was her most important episode because it's her divorce party and it's her thing. I could not care less about Layla's divorce party. I
I
wanted
like
to see.
Layla and her divorce party.
She's fine. She's fine. I have no issues with Layla. I just don't give a shit about the actual storyline because all I care about is Demi sitting down with Whitney later. All I care about
Oh,
is
yeah.
Jessi and Whitney sitting down and talking later. Those are the main storylines. These are just like little, all right, yeah, we're going to throw a little party later and it's going to be for Layla's divorce. It's like, okay, what has Layla done for me? Not a whole lot for the TV show, but on the TikTok, I'm sure she's done a lot. And it's just
On
funny going
the
back and forth.
TikTok.
Well,
Don't
because
age yourself too much, pal.
yeah, no.
On
no.
the TikTok
Oh,
machine.
on the TikTok machine.
But let's keep trucking. We get to Jen, Taylor, Dak, and Zach. I'm calling them Dak and Zach now. They're a duo. The old Dakota Zach duo. Dak and Zach attack. But Jen feels responsible for the rift in the group, and she wants to make sure that everyone's cool, everything's okay. So she invites Taylor and Dakota over to talk about kids and like get a little update and also just interact with Dakota a little bit and see him around the kids. And
Yeah.
look, I'm not going to bash the guy here only because regardless of my thoughts and feelings, he's still going to be a father to that child. Okay. I will say this during his test run, if you will, the way he changed that baby or tried to put the clothes on that child was insane to me. He was like headlocking it and
He's
like yanking the jeans
manhandling.
up.
Yeah.
And the other big one was whilst holding the baby, you stepped on a child, sir.
Yep.
You got to have your head on a swivel. All right. There's toddlers running around. You're holding a baby. You can't be willy-nilly just stepping on kids. Okay. Get it together, Dak. Not a good, not good. But
I mean, I guess at the core of this whole scene, it's nice that Zach and Jen were like, "Come on over, and we'll give you a
no,
little
it
crash
seems
course."
slimy for some reason. I don't like
Is
them.
it just because it's them? I mean, I have no problem with Jen Affleck right now. After
Jen
watching
Affleck,
a little
no.
bit forward.
Zach can go fuck himself
Zach's a
off a
loser.
cliff. That
We'll
guy's
talk more about him
miserable.
in the next episode. But in this episode, in this instance, it's like, okay, I guess that's kind of nice for some weird reason. But at some point, maybe step in and be like, hey, don't hold my child by the neck when you're pulling the
Putting
pants
the
up. Like,
jeans on.
it was uncomfortable to watch. And I guess from a TV standpoint, it's like, all right, this guy's fucking clueless. But that's your kid. You need to step in and at least try to help out, do something. Don't leave
Help
him
the
on his
kid.
own. Help the kid. Yeah, that's
He's
what I'm
giving him a wedgie.
I know. And your poor other kid just gets stepped on. Like
He got
it's funny overall, but it's just crazy to me that that's what this whole scene was about, was giving Dakota a crash course. Like, don't you have classes that you can go
Well, he's
to? Do
getting
you really need to
there
go over
are.
to the Afflecks?
There definitely are classes, but
Yep.
the big sticking point is the marriage conversation, and this just sets the table for later. Dakota's dead set. I want to get married. I want to get married. I have a very, very real theory as to why, and I'll get to that later when it really breaks down. But that's the meat and potatoes of why they're over there, is to force this conversation of, well, this is what I want. I need her to get on board so we can move forward. I need you to commit to me, blah, 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 all that bullshit. Now, as we know later, it gets much hairier than that, but we check in with Layla. She's getting a tattoo, and she gives us a little bit more breakdown of her backstory, even though you're not here for it, apparently, but
It's boring.
it's not. She got a shotgun wedding at 19 years old. It was an unhealthy relationship. She figured it out young enough to get the fuck out of there while she's, 22?
Yep.
So this is a great story. She's going to have her whole life ahead of her with somebody that she actually loves and cares about, and she's having a death to divorce party, which is great. And
Well,
it's like literally a funeral.
Here's the problem. Look, again, it's just the TV show aspect of this. I just don't think that Layla's prepped enough to be on this TV show. I don't
Well,
think
she's
that
a
she's
friend
bringing
of
it.
right now. Well, we'll call it that.
Do they even
She's
have
a friend
those?
of.
She
Well,
gets
no.
she gets an introduction in the
No, I understand that. I'm saying what she's bringing to the show currently is more of a friend of role. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that she is a friend of. Maybe she should be doing more, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's hard to leapfrog some of these main storylines to be the center of attention because the shit's so crazy. So
I
I
more
think
so I just love the idea of walking into the tattoo shop. Like I like that this is when you put it against like Salt Lake City,
Yeah.
that this actually digs into a little bit more of the Mormon stuff because you can see other people are uncomfortable. They're like, oh, I'm going into a tattoo shop, but I got to support Layla. Layla's got to do this, but like I can't be there. It's like, okay, tattoos are out too. Like what's going on here?
And then they show the tattoo and it's like a squiggle. It's like,
But
it looks like a freckle.
My problem with this was, and this is like Layla trying to, and I get it. She's 22. She doesn't really know what she's doing, but she's trying to get into a little bit more of a storyline. She's like, I got to change this tattoo. This tattoo was originally for my ex. And, obviously I'm no longer with him. So this is my reset on life. This is my newfound way to get through everything.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to change it and I'm going to dedicate it to my sister. Are you close to your sister? No. I'm not close to my sister because I just feel like we live different lives and we just kind of pass each other by. Why are you getting a tattoo for your sister if you're not
because
close
it's
to your
better
sister?
for that than her ex-husband.
Just do it for something else. Do it for somebody.
Look,
do it for mom talk. Do it just like do a little TikTok tattoo and it's got a little mom or something in there. I don't know. Just do something else. Like it just seems like it's forced and I just don't care.
Look, I'll tell my first tattoo story at some point on here, but the first one never goes great. All right. You learn a lot from your first tattoo. Okay. Ask Big Ed. But anyway, we get to Axe and Smash, which is the best name for one of these places I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight to the point. Axe, you're going to throw some axes and smash some shit.
Yep.
And everyone's there except for Whitney. And they're all having it's so funny when you see the scenes. And Taylor was invited.
Taylor's pregnant. Taylor's 8.5 months pregnant. She can't smash an axe.
But she was invited.
Smash.
Whitney wasn't invited.
Yeah.
Taylor was. Taylor just couldn't go.
She's not in the group chat.
That's a good. So how would you be invited? And nobody reached out. So how would you know about this?
I love that conversation too because it's like, well, how else are we going to invite Whitney? She's not in the group chat. We can't invite her. It's like
there's no way to contact her.
We don't
I don't
know
have her number.
To be fair, some of them are blocked too, so they might not even know. And they're not.
Did she block phones?
She blocked some phone numbers too. Yeah. So that's what they were talking about. They're like, yeah, I don't know if I can even reach out to her because my number might be locked. And that's embarrassing. If somebody blocks you and you go to reach out and say, hey, we're heading over to here and it turns green. Ooh.
It just stays green.
Oh, yeah. So you know what? Don't even bother. Let's just not text her because she's not in the group chat anymore. So we can't get to her.
She tried to throw a hissy fit and it didn't work. And fucking leave her out of it. But while it's going on, they post a picture of them all there covered in paint. And Whitney, who was not invited, sees the picture. And now she's acting like, again, the victim.
How did she see the picture if everybody's unfollowed, though? Did she go looking?
Oh, that's a good point. You had to have.
She's got burners. I guarantee you she's either got children Instagrams where maybe for her kids.
Animals.
She might have a Connor, like a Connor and Me Instagram. Maybe she has a separate business Instagram just for herself.
How many burners does Connor have? 10.
He takes a picture each day because is it this episode or the next one where he gets rid of the mustache finally?
It's next one. He's a fucking different guy. And now we know why. Like all these rumors coming out. It's like it's all making sense. You got to be incognito 24/7 because you're a scumbag.
Well, it's like, you know what? Those pictures that were allegedly on Tinder are of him in high school. Are they from high school, Connor? Or are they from like a week ago when you just had a different hairstyle and a mustache?
Probably that.
Probably that.
Yeah, there's a reason you're switching up the look every fucking week, pal. We're on to you, buddy. But she's venting about this whole thing and she's like, nobody called me. And if this is where she starts to really get into the group chat aspect, and she's like, if someone else left the group chat, I would call them immediately. Immediately after that, acknowledges that's not why I left it, though. It's like, well, if you're cognizant of it and you just said this, that's clearly why you left the group. And now you're butthurt because nobody reached out to you. Why would they? If you're going to throw a fit and leave a group chat, by the way, if someone else did that, given the state of mom talk right now, you would not have reached out. You would have bitched and moaned to other people about it, dragged them behind their back, talked all kinds of crazy shit. And then when she came back to the group, you would have been weirdly buddy-buddy or something. That would have been a Whitney move. So she's just playing this huge, stupid victim card, and it's just not landing. And I'm so intrigued by, and we see them across all platforms of reality TV, people like this, where they genuinely believe what they're saying, and they're so clearly in the wrong, but they convince themselves. It's crazy narcissistic behavior where it's like the world revolves around me. Woe is me. Why are they not helping me? Poor me. It's like, you were the dick. You've been a dick the whole time, and they finally called you on your shit. And by the way, the best example is the Fruity Pebbles incident, because instantly, by the way, shout out Fruity Pebbles Rice Krispie treats at Swig in the beginning was fucking hysterical. That's also nuts to me that you're going to sit down with a Coke and a Rice Krispie treat. Are you fucking nuts?
Yeah.
But anyway,
breakfast.
When you watch back on the Fruity Pebbles scene, when you got in trouble for a bad joke, if you want to say it that way, immediately you're saying, I feel ambushed, and why are you reacting this way? You don't get to dictate reactions when you're a dick.
Yep.
Okay? If you're going to be a dick, you can't tate. You got me?
Can't tate.
You cannot tate if you're going to be a dick.
Law.
That's the law of dictation. So her whole reaction to everything bothers. I mean, it gives me the most agita.
Well, wait, what about dictators? Dictators are all dicks.
Dictators are all dicks. But that's what I mean. They're not tating.
Are you sure?
I don't know. This is getting more nuanced than I had anticipated. I just thought it was a silly word.
What is the definition of tate?
If you're gonna be a dick, did I say you can't tate or you have to tate?
Can't tate.
Oh, so tating implies the dictatorship of it. If you're gonna be a dick, you can't tate. No. Nope. This is too much. I can't do this. Fucking leave it alone. Just leave it. It was fine the way it was, and now you've ruined it.
It wasn't.
You ruin everything. You're the worst. Let's keep going. You fucking dictator. But the next scene is at Baby Mama. We got a little photo shoot for Mayci's natal supplements, prenatal, postnatal. I'm not entirely sure which level of natal they are, whether it's pre, post, or both. But it's a gummy service. Gummy service makes it sound so not official. It's a prenatal vitamin service for moms. It's not great. This is not a good plug for Baby Mama.
Is this all stemming from the dictator thing?
Yeah, you frazzled me. I'm fucking thrown off, dude. I have a flow, and once my flow is interrupted, I'm
not sure which natal position we're in right now. But
yeah, if it's pre or post,
it's one of those.
It's somewhere in there, pre, post. But the point is, she's starting a business for natal supplements to help mothers.
Yep.
That's what I should have said.
And
initially.
they are gummy.
And they are gummies. So there. Okay. Let's keep going. She's trying her best to reconnect with Taylor. And what I like about Mayci and have liked about Mayci is she does play both sides, but it's not playing both sides. She's just trying to be a friend to people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she doesn't pull any punches ever. She's not playing like a two-faced card.
No,
it's just like, this is who I am. I like
She easily
Whitney.
could. She really easily could too, because she knows information about everybody, because people trust her, because she does this, but people trust her because she doesn't do that. So it's sort of a catch-22. So she's not slimy with anybody. Yeah, she's not slimy with it. And we kind of thought, I feel like in the first and second episode when we talked about Mayci, how much we liked her because she had that middle position, but you could see that it could flip very easily if she wanted to choose sides, and she doesn't. She's in a really good position to be that two-faced person, and maybe even be a person that others don't go back to and don't come back to her saying, oh, you spilled the beans on this, or you made me change my position on something over here. She can easily do that, and she doesn't do it. But now we're starting to realize she just wants everybody to get along.
That's it. But genuinely, she genuinely just wants it to be like above board. Like that's all she's trying to do is get people to reconnect and move on from all the bullshit. Meanwhile, she's also worried about everyone's relationships. Like she is probably the most realistic, reasonable person on this show. Like she just seems to have her shit together and is able to look at situations pragmatically, which we always appreciate. But in this scene, she's inviting Taylor to the photo shoot in an effort to reconnect with Taylor and also to take pictures because she's pregnant. And so it's a win-win for everybody.
Yep.
Taylor shows up with fucking Dakota, which was not the invite, which drives me nuts too. Like that's not what this is. And you know, it's not what it is. Don't bring your tag along puppy dog boyfriend that can't be away from you for 2 fucking seconds, which by the way, is a red flag in of itself. If he can't let you go to a photo shoot for fucking pregnant, you fucking ruined me with the dictator thing for prenatal supplements. If you can't do that without having to tag along, to me, he's trying to prove a point to Mayci. Every single time I see scenes like this, he's trying to prove what a good guy he is. I'm always with her. I'm always showing up. I'm making sure that she's provided for. that's not what you're doing. You seem
I
overbearing and overshadowing.
Yeah, no, I have a different position on that. I feel like he's afraid of what Mayci might say because he already knows that Mayci's against him. So
Okay, all
rather than,
encompassing then.
yeah,
Put it
so
all
it is all
together.
encompassing for sure. I feel like he'd rather be there because he thinks that I guess the probability of her talking shit on him and maybe swaying Taylor away from him is lower if he's there so that he can kind of police the conversation. I feel like that's why he inserts himself in these situations. Who knows what he's saying to Taylor? Because Taylor knows this is just supposed to be a photo shoot for you. You're pregnant. This will be really good for my business because I have an actual friend who's pregnant that I can take pictures of, and she won't be weird about it. Dakota does not need to be there. He's going to insert himself. So he's probably thinking, oh, what if we maybe turn this thing into like a yeah, now I'm all fucked up on this
Yeah,
whole
see?
thing. Yeah,
See what you
yeah.
did?
Maybe this is like a really good for like a pregnancy announcement picture, like that the two of us can
No.
be shirtless together. Like, no, he definitely spun it in one weird way, but he has, for whatever reason, he has this hold, at least in this position in episode 5. He has this hold over Taylor where he can do things like that and he can say things like that. But we know what he is. He's just manipulating everything because he's afraid of what somebody like Macy's going to say because Mayci already has it out for him.
But it's even more credit to Mayci for being like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not having this conversation with him right now. I'm here to
No.
work. I invited you to work. And now he's kind of disrupting everything. So I'm not going to throw it off more by having an awkward conversation that I don't want to have because I've already pegged this guy for who he is. I know who he is. I'm not bending the knee to him because he's a piece of shit and I'm trying to save you from him. So forcing this conversation will not happen. And I was baffled. I was fucking floored when this idiot's like, can we take some pictures? I'm like, you're not paying for it, dude. That's a professional photographer. This is a professional photo shoot for a brand.
Yep.
No, you can't just take like literally this dude takes his goddamn shirt off and goes to take pregnancy pictures with Taylor at a brand shoot for somebody's company that fucking hates you. How delusional can you be? And this is where my theory comes in, where he's taking these pictures and he's going, oh, look how good of a dad I'm going to be. Look how good of a caretaker I am. I just want to show how loving I am, how much I love Taylor and I love my future baby. Mayci, are you looking? Look how caring and tender I am. How can you hate me? This was a move by him that actually went worse than he could have imagined because now Macy's like, dude, you psycho. I didn't invite you. And now you're taking up my time and money to take pictures because you're too cheap or broke to pay for your own. Like, that's insane. That was crazy. I couldn't believe he, I mean, I can believe he did it.
Yeah.
But just fucking
insane.
Fuck off. Go away, Dak. But let's get to the divorce party. And to everybody's shock, Whitney does show up. I didn't think she was going to do it either, but Whitney
in the same outfit that she wore the last time that they went out.
Yep, she's right back to it, and that was 100% a
But
choice.
she didn't have the toilet paper on her foot
because she took it off the shoe after she put it on the shoe. I'm telling you, she planned the toilet paper. That was a fucking plant, and you can't convince me otherwise. But the group is mixed reactions. Jessi's glad, which is interesting. Jessi's actually, she still wants the group to be cool. Macy's happy because, as we know, Macy's in the middle. Demi is off the Whitney train 100%. She's just shocked she's there and wishes that she wasn't there. And we find out that Whitney's still upset because of Jessi's comments, which Jessi's comments I thought were probably the meanest, but they were given to her in the nicest possible way to deliver that information. Like, I'm sure it stung, but at the same time, she's like, you know, everybody got to talk shit about you, Whitney, because you do this to everybody. You get close to them and then you use them and then you move on to the next. It wasn't even like she was trying to really fuck her up. It was more just like, I'm just going to inform you of what we think and it's going to sting. And I'm sorry. But quick question for you. Connor's never drank. Correct. Quote unquote. That champagne was the first time. And he knows how to try to knock a bottle cap off of a bottle using a table. Are you fucking joking? I mean,
like those old the Mexican Cokes.
Nope. Fuck that. Nope.
To be fair, he didn't know that well how to do it because he tried
he couldn't
10
do
times
it
and then chipped the table.
Fucked up the table. Now you're gonna have to pay for the table. So he didn't know how to successfully do it. But yeah, I don't believe anything that guy says, to be honest with you. But Layla shows up in funeral garb, which I thought was hysterical. I like that she's leading into this whole thing. But this is the moment you were waiting for. Jessi is just standing there. She walks up to the whole crew, and Whitney was sitting there. And Whitney, to her credit, actually, I like that. I'm okay with it. Like, let's go do this right now. Like, oh, let me steal you away real quick. My favorite thing about this show is you can tell that they are not proficient in cussing or bad words, because she's trying to explain her stance, her being Whitney. And she's like, when Demi attacked me up the ass. And I was like, whoa,
Gross. Yeah.
The term. People don't say that. But Jessi, again, very calmly and very, I don't want to say like official, but she's just giving facts. She's just relaying information. She's not trying to be defamatory. She's just saying, look, I've overheard a lot of the women in the group. They all seem to have the same issue with you. You're quick to like out other people for talking shit, and you talk a lot of shit. But when the same thing happens to you, now you're the victim. Now you withdraw. Now woe is me. Now everyone's after Whitney. Nobody likes Whitney. I don't have any friends. Fuck mom talk. You can dish it, but you can't fucking take it. And that's her biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been her problem. And it's really just come to a head in the last couple of episodes because people are actually calling her out on her shit. I guess she hasn't been used to that. And again, like, we're not privy to how everything used to be. All we really know is Taylor outed a couple of people in the group who apparently aren't on the show for being swingers or soft swingers,
allegedly,
or whatever, but we didn't know what like the inner workings of each relationship was. So I feel like, based off of what we've seen, Whitney is used to doing all of these things, dealing in the shadows, just talking to whoever she wants, talking behind people's backs. How many times have we seen her do that? She outed to me for the Fruity Pebbles incident with a group of girls that didn't know that. That's about as personal as it gets, and she had no problem with that, even carrying it on to the point of bringing a full box of Fruity Pebbles to Demi's party. So for her to sit there now and say, I'm really hurt that it just seems like everybody's talking behind my back, that's not exactly what Jessi said. Jessi said, we're all realizing that you're talking behind people's backs. You're using people for different friendships for different reasons, and we're fed up. So we're bringing it to your attention now that we've all realized that we've been able to sit together and talk about how you've been treating us. We're talking to your face about this right now. You couldn't handle it because you were sitting in a closet crying. Okay. Yes. Big whoop. And now you try to use the card of, with all the things that I have going on. What do you have going on? Your husband cheated on you. And
that's a big
was on
thing,
Tinder
but you're not honest about
for
it.
3 years, and you ran away to Hawaii. And I know in the next episode you try to like break down what it means to run away versus removing yourself from a toxic situation. Whatever, you fucking ran away. So what else do you have going on right now? I just don't really understand. So for her to sit there and just not understand what Jessi's talking about, and then try to pass the blame and say everybody's talking behind my back and it's really hard to be me, nobody's checking up on me. No. We all got together, realized that you're a terrible friend, threw it in your face and said, hey, you're a terrible friend. Now you're accusing us of being a terrible friend. So yeah, we're not going to reach out to you. That's stupid.
No. And she brings up the group chat again. She's like, nobody asked why I left the group chat. And Jessi's like, yeah, because it was pretty fucking passive aggressive. Like, was that a test? And she's like, no, it wasn't a test. And it's like, look, all that happened was it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. And now you're throwing a hissy fit. And she's like, I had such a different perspective. I had such a different perspective of that. Your perspective, and this is what narcissists do, your perspective is not the only perspective and is not the correct perspective either. Just because you feel a certain way does not make it true. Just because you feel like you're the one in the wrong or being wronged here does not make it true. You left the group chat to garner a reaction. You didn't get the reaction. Now you don't know what to do because you're not in the group anymore. You literally played, that was like an all-in move. I'm going to pull myself out, see what they do without me. And nobody responded. And now you're panicking because you don't have a foothold anywhere. You can't see what's going on in Mom Talk. You can't see what's going on in the group chat. So now you're bugging out and you're turning all of your energy towards the group again. Like, oh, they cut me out. They hate me. They always have hated me. None of you are my real friends. Wah, 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 hissy fit, because your plan didn't work. You lost, and now you don't know what to do because you've never been in this position, because these people have all been your minions up until this point, and now you've lost control of Mom Talk. Now you're irrelevant, honestly. You don't even need to be there, and that drives you crazy because you need to be wanted, Whitney. You need it. You crave it. That's everything that you want in life, is just to simply be wanted, and nobody does, because you're not a nice person. And they told you that. And instead of having a moment of clarity and saying, oh, you know what? Maybe this is a good time for me to change some of my ways, to really follow the Mormon religion and really lean into the teachings that the good book tells us. Nope. Fuck all of you. I'm the victim. Everybody hates me. My life sucks. I've done nothing wrong to deserve this. I'm going to go run away and homestead with Connor, who's cheating on me. Good call. You nailed it.
Yeah.
That's where you're at.
Yeah, she really got through it too. And it is kind of funny again because she was sitting there when she was staring at that Instagram picture, talking about how they posted this picture because they wanted me to see it. Connor even
You
said
don't follow them anymore.
you don't follow them anymore. But when they were in the break room, they were still writing things on the wall and talking about Whitney the whole time. But that's not going to last forever, Whit. That's not going to last. They might be thinking about you now. They might be talking about how you left the group chat. But in about a week or two, they're going to forget all about you. So now she has to play a different game. Now she has to show up to things that people don't expect her to show up to, like Layla's divorce party. Now she has to talk to people and maybe have discussions about how people are bad friends. She's going to start to spiral, and she's going to start talking about things that she learned from this person when they were talking shit on the other person. She's going to start playing them against each other. That's the only thing that she has left. Or maybe you could just swallow your pride and go back and just act like nothing happened and start being a good friend, because
Or
you keep talking about.
apologize.
I don't think she's ever going to apologize. I'm not even going to put that into. Not even
Just,
gonna throw
just
that
show
out
up
there.
and be normal.
If she just showed up and she was normal, I think she would be fine. I think that, yeah, you might not be the queen bee right away. You might be able to work your way back into it. But if you just showed up and act like nothing happened and you act normal and you're not pitting people against each other, you might be okay. You might still remain in mom talk,
You'll
and you
be
might be able
better
to,
than where you're at.
yeah, right now you're just in a shit show right now where it's tough enough with between this episode and the next episode where we have these, the big group is out doing something, and then we have to go over to poor Whitney and Connor going around a fucking farm and doing whatever. Like, I don't care. Nobody cares about that.
I do.
Why?
I'm very intrigued by homesteading because I'm
Yeah.
trying to get my own little suburban farm going.
You're not going to learn how to homestead from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives with these two idiots.
Whoa.
Whoa,
Do you know where I learned how to cook? Whoa.
That's different.
Guys,
That's
grocery games. And I'm a professional chef.
And that is realistic because it's Guy's grocery games, and Guy Fieri is a great guy.
Way to pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, yeah, come on.
This episode, come on, Beauty. The episode ends with Taylor and Dak, and Mayci's coming over to have the conversation that she postponed when he decided to show up uninvited to the photo shoot. And there's a lot of resentment, obviously, brewing, and they sit down and try to hash things out. And again, I like her approach. She's like, look, she doesn't pull any punches, but she also doesn't do it in a way where she's like, it doesn't seem like she's trying to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
She's like, here's what happened. Taylor's vented to me multiple times about your behaviors. I've observed your behaviors multiple times. I come from an abusive relationship where a lot of these things were occurring in my own relationship. You're not doing that to that degree yet, but I do see some red flags that are making me very nervous for my good friend. You're possessive, you're jealous, you're controlling, like all of these different things. And that scares me. He goes with the approach of, you're trying to make this harder for us because all I'm trying to do is be there for her and I want her to accept me. And in the midst of all of this, Taylor starts to break down. And this is showing you how fractured the relationship actually is. They're what, a month away from having this baby?
Couple of weeks.
And she is still trying to process the lack of trust.
Uh-huh.
And my biggest thing, and we're going to talk about it in the next episode as well, but the biggest thing is lack of trust. You said you were going to hang with the boys. No, we weren't dating, but you lied to me. So that trust was broken there. I can't trust you again. And here's the thing that Dakota doesn't seem to realize that I wish he would. If you were actually making an effort, if you were actually showing up and showing her that you can be trustworthy, if you were doing the little things and not giving her cause for concern, not giving her a reason to question whether or not you should be trustworthy. Trust can be earned. You're clearly not doing enough if she's still questioning it. And if you're sitting there just claiming, I've done everything. I'm here. I want to commit to you. I want you to commit to me. I can't keep doing this runaround, this, that, the other thing. She's not there yet because you have not shown her. If you showed her that you were actually committed, actually ready to be trusted, she would be there. So that tells me you're not doing enough. Just by saying big words, big phrases, grand gestures is not going to prove trust. You try to throw that at her to confuse her and pretty much handcuff her into a marriage. And I know exactly why this dude wants to get married. If he gets her to say yes, he is exonerated of everything he's done in the past. That's his only
1000%.
focus.
Yep.
He wants her to say yes because then she can't hold this shit over his head anymore and they can move on. And he's not going to feel like the bad guy, even though he has done nothing to address his actual issues. And by addressing your actual issues, she would actually see that you're worthy of trust and maybe be able to take that step forward. But because he's trying to skirt the system and just convince her to marry him now, only because they're in the Mormon church and she's pregnant. So he's using religion to try to further what he wants, which is even more egregious.
Yep.
We hate that around here. By doing all of those things combined, it shows everybody watching, it shows Taylor, it shows Mayci that you are not to be trusted because your actions do not match the words.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a good dissection of Dakota. Now, I think that this entire situation, this entire group chat, if you will, was just a play by Taylor. I think that she wanted Mayci to come in to sit down and they could start a little conversation and then she could jump in and just hammer it home with all the things that she wanted to say to him.
Probably because she needed support.
She needs support. She can't do it. He won't say. I can already tell you right now, based off of the next episode, he probably doesn't show up when it's Taylor and her mom because he's afraid of this exact situation. So let's do it under the guise of, I need you and Mayci to be cool because Macy's one of my most supportive friends. And right now you guys are at odds. And I need you guys to talk through this because if this is going to work, I need my friend and my boyfriend / future husband, as he keeps fucking saying, my baby daddy, to get it over with. I need you guys to sit down and figure this whole thing out. But I'm going to use this opportunity to just lay it all out there for you. I've got fucking trust issues with you. And the only way that I'm going to be able to talk to you without you just like biting my head off and running away and getting out and not talking to me for a week while I'm 8.5 months pregnant is to do it with another friend there. So I think it was a good play by her. Now, he was still aggressive the entire time. He was still yelling at her. And this is the biggest manipulator move too. He's sitting there with his hand on her knee, trying to get out his feelings. And he's just berating her while she's crying. And they even did this thing where they had the overlay of Taylor talking in her confessional, talking about this exact situation, talking about all of her trust issues. She's just bawling on the couch and he's going off and off and off. And he's got his hand on her knee. Like, dude, no, absolutely not. He's the worst kind of guy out there. And yeah, I mean, you can point back and say they should have just broken it off after the first episode, all that shit that went down. They should have just broken it off, whatever. You don't know how that works. It's a
hindsight's a mofo.
Yeah, exactly. And it was tough to watch the entire thing. But I do give credit to Taylor for that because I think that was her plan from the jump, was to have Mayci there. Let's do it right now. We'll get you guys to square it away. Mayci made a lot of good points. I agree fully with all the things that Mayci said because she didn't take digs at him. She just said, yeah, maybe I am projecting a little bit based off of what I've seen, but what I've seen has scared me. And I need you to understand that.
And you're eliciting some of those behaviors.
All very good points. Dakota just had a bunch of excuses the entire time. But once Taylor started going, you see the real Dakota, he just starts screaming at her and berating her and talking about his feelings. It's not about you, bro. You're not pregnant.
No, you're just a big pile of shit. That's what you are.
Sure it is.
That wraps up this episode. And because of the way we're recording these, we do not have questions, but we will have another episode for you today. Today or tomorrow? What's today? When you're listening to this, it's Wednesday?
Thursday? What's today?
What's today?
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Tuesday. Holy fuck, it is Wednesday.
Yep.
Tomorrow's Thursday. So you'll have two tomorrow. Yeah, so you'll have one right after this. Today. Wow, this is confusing. You will have two now that you've stopped listening to this episode, there's another one for you to listen to. And that's episode 6 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Today
With the Brav Bros. Brav Bros are out of here.